Hi, hello, and welcome to the campus of St. Augustine Prep, as we are here in Anthony Spina Gymnasium as Hermits Volleyball takes on Cedar Creek. Hermits defeated Cedar Creek earlier in the year at Cedar Creek, but Hermits will be without their starting middle Adrian Lemowski today. I think his allergies were acting up. He was sick, so the Hermits will be shifting around their starting lineup. Looks like Nick Sardi, who's usually the libero, will be playing the middle, so I wonder if they'll just kind of they're going to play all 6 spots. Sardi can certainly play back there. There's a decent dig by Spencer Lawson, but the ball goes all the way over and hit and goes out. Fantastic call by line judge Alex Orozco. And the Hermits will take a 1-0 lead. Let's get the scoreboard up. A little fortunate there that second ball was kind of hit over after the Hermits played him a free ball, and then all of a sudden Cedar Creek did him a favor back, but Cedar Creek gets that point back right there. They're tied at 1. The Hermits are 10-2 on the season. Only losses coming to Pleasantville and Apsagami. Competitive South Jersey Group 2 is Fisher Brogan. First pass, set wide to Minichino. Minichino slams it home. So I wonder if the Hermits will look a little more, I don't want to say one-dimensional because it's two-dimensional, but they got Tamblini and Minichino as their main hitters right now. And obviously as you rotate through the lineup, it'll be a little different. But those are the two main guys they're setting. Now Sardi's up there with them. And he kind of plays that back. Fisher Brogan plays it over. Good hard hit. And Cedar Creek hitter I guess he thought it was going to go over the net. Didn't really make a play for it. But I wonder if they're going to go for a ton of sets to Sardi today. If they're going to see him mostly focus on Minichino and Tamplini out wide. It's Brogan, nice serve just over the net. Hit, block, and inbound. So the Hermits will take a 4-1 lead. As Fisher Brogan sets to serve the ball. Is it over? Set near side, but not super strong. So hopefully this is a good set there. And I can't read the referee's signals, but either way, it was a set, kind of went over the net. So it wasn't a good set. It went over the net. So Cedar Creek had the ability to kind of hit it down. It looked like they hit it out of bounds, but I think the referee called one of two things. Either the Hermits hit the net or it tipped off the Hermits' fingers, which would make sense because it would be pretty hard to miss from there where that Cedar Creek player was at. But they give the point right back to the Hermits as it goes to 5-2. Now the Hermits rotate with Spencer Lawson up in the front, who's normally up there as well. As they set out to Minichino. Minichino, big hit, tipped, dug, and now Cedar Creek sends it back. That one might have been a little long. Brogan saves it. Set to Tamplini on the outside. Big block. And it's a point for the Hermits as Cedar Creek touched the net on the block. They take a 6-2 lead. Another serve there by Nick Sardi. Upset. Good touch. Just over Minichino's hands, and then it was probably, they ended up probably getting a little set too close to the net. Either way, back to Minichino. Hard hit, stays in bounds. Lawson touches it over, but touches the net. Pretty easy call for the official there. Got a handful of the net, and that'll be now 6-3 in favor of the Hermits. Serve just over the net. Good dig by Brogan. Sicario sets. Good hit by Minichino. Ping pongs around the rafters, but it kind of actually makes it easier for Cedar Creek to get it. Brogan again with a dig. Tamplini hits him with the changeup, and Cedar Creek can't quite get there. The Hermits take a 7-3 lead. Oh, good dig there from Cedar Creek. Hard hit, tipped off of Sakara's hands. but out of bounds, so it'll be a point for Cedar Creek. Service comes in. Caro serves. Tampolini goes with his offhand, the right hand that time. I think it was set a little behind him. This one set a little close to the net. And it goes over. No, didn't just kind of like touched, I think, Nick Sicaro on the way down. So it'll be a point for Cedar Creek. Kind of tough for me to see from my angle, but they hit it over. Good dig there by Brogan, but it goes over the net. Cedar Creek should be able to set up something here. Oh, good block by Lawson, but again, tipped back over. The Hermits will get another set. This one a little long for Tampolini, but great job adjusting in the air. He didn't get the full hit he would have wanted, but he was able to reach over with his left hand, kind of just nick it down towards the other team's side of the court and not hit the net. So, I'm sure not the ideal serve that Tampolini would have wanted, but or the set that he would have wanted, but a good job there. And then again, that's why these first passes, these digs, you can't put them too close to the net because that one goes over to the Hermits side, but that's just where Fisher Brogan's waiting. Send that down to give the Hermits a 9-5 lead. Blaney served in. Ooh. He kind of hit his own face with that. I guess that doesn't count as two hits. But Tampolini comes from a middle attack position. From the back row. Good save there. They're going to have to send this third one over. It does. So Cedar Creek's going to get another chance at this. Good hit. Good dig there by Sardi. Hermits not able to do anything with it. Cedar Creek claws another point back. Hermits lead 9-6. Over. Set. Ooh, and a good hit there by a little bit of changeup by Lawson. Again, both teams' sets have been a little too close to the net, really, for my liking. But there, I think Lawson was able to really get a hold of it, and I think kind of caught everybody by surprise. Cedar Creek will hit that one over. All right, good set here for the Hermits. A decent chance. Again, another backline set, and it'll be a point for the Hermits. So you can kind of see that attacking line in the middle of the court. It kind of runs basically just from the center circle, about closer to the center circle than it is the three-point line. And so they've been setting that kind of tunnel hit for Tampolini. And it's been working for him so far. So I guess that's the kind of change-up, the wrinkle that Coach Adamucci thrown into this offense without Adrian Lemowski here today, is they've been doing more, I don't know what you would call it. I think friend in college called it tunnel or center, whatever. Either way, they're doing a lot more of that than I've ever really seen them play by setting Tampolini from the back line. The Cedar Creek will take a timeout before this game gets out of hand, and we will be right back after this. So after the timeout, Cedar Creek gets that first point back. It'll be 7-13. Decent dig there. Okay, I was going to say they called the double hit. That seemed a little chaotic. Usually if it looks awkward, it's probably an illegal hit, so. Minikino with the dig. They set Brogan out wide. Brogan with a good hit, but blocked. Sakaro, but Minikino, he's just going to send it to the back. Cedar Creek will get a good hit there. They go with the changeup. And Sakaro goes with it's already kind of quick set, and I think everybody was expecting him to go to the back set to Minikino when he went the quick set to Sakaro. And then Sakaro, I think, was almost not expecting it either, and just kind of punched it over, and Cedar Creek couldn't handle it. So the Hermits take a 14-8 lead here in Game 1. Game 1's super important when it's only this best-of-3 set, especially when they're missing Adrian Lemowski today. Ooh, a little bit of campfire there for the Hermits. Cedar Creek will get that point back. But if you just keep trading point here, point there, point here, point there, keep this lead at 5, I think that's where the Hermits want to be. The more closer Cedar Creek gets, the more everybody's going to – they did them a favor there. I was going to say, if they can get it under 5 to 4 to 3, I think that's when everybody kind of starts getting a little antsy, starts forcing things. So if the Hermits can keep this lead right here at 5 to 6, just kind of alternating back and forth, they're going to be all right. A dig there by Lawson. Sakaro sets Minikino. Big hit from Minikino. Good block. The Cedar Creek resets a cycle. Not the best hit in the world, so Lawson will play it from the back line. Sets Minikino again. Minikino, big hit into the back line. And the libero can't quite get there. And the Hermits will take a 16-9 lead. That's just one of those, I think he just kind of launched it at the Cedar Creek player's chest. And, you can't really put your hands down for that set. And you can't really get your forearms up for that dig. And it was caught on an awkward spot. Either way, another point for the Hermits as Brogan puts that one just over the net. Soft pass over for Cedar Creek, gives the Hermits a chance. Can't make much of it. And again, that was, a couple other passes a little too close to the net on both teams. That one was a little too far away, so Tampolini had to kind of backtrack. He's ready to go for his, gather jump. And instead he kind of had to backtrack and wasn't able to get that one over the net. There's a good back set here by Sakaro, and Minikino gets to it, and then the point goes to the Hermits. So a good rebound by Sakaro as he, the last one to Tampolini wasn't quite as good, and then that one was a pretty good back set. Kind of fooled everybody there, gave Minikino an open swing at it. And even if he only kind of got his fingertips to it, it was enough for the point. Can't quite get the block there for Lawson. Good set there by Cedar Creek. Again, one of those kind of quick ones, so Lawson wasn't able to get any help from Minikino or Tampolini, and it was just kind of him up there for the block. Cedar Creek was able to force it right through. Another set to Minikino, but that one went over the antenna. The side judge is calling the over the antenna. So if you see those little candy cane striped things on your screen, I don't even know if you can really see it from where we were looking, but basically right by the pole there's like a little red and white stick. It has to go in between that in order to count as a point, and there's a good set. That one's definitely in between the two stripes, the two antennas. The Hermits take an 18-12 lead. So Minikino will serve from the back. Good serve there. Good dig. Cedar Creek sets it to the back line attack. Brogan there, easy. Sakaro sets. Tampolini, good hit. And that's exactly what you want. It was a good dig from Brogan. Phenomenal set by Sakaro. And then a great hit by Tampolini. Gives the Hermits a 19-12 lead. Minikino plays that first one in, and they can't handle it. Hermits will take a 20-12 lead. 8 points is a lot to come back from in volleyball. It seems to me it's a lot of like 1-1-1-1. Like, you don't see too many elite servers, I guess you would say. It seems like everybody right here. Like Cedar Creek got a good chance, but the Hermits touch the net. So, I mean, you see a lot of times where it's going to that first day. It's easy to set the serve, basically, and everybody's getting a good chance to get a good spike on it. on that first one. So you're going to see, look, watch. This dig, not too much for sorry, never mind. Ignore what I was saying. Either way, it goes over for the Hermits. Big set to the outside, blocked by the Hermits. And then, yeah, the referees confirmed because, again, it looked a little odd, but it was because that block didn't count as that hit. So I think he tried to put it over. Didn't quite make it, but it threw everybody off. And so his teammate, as the other outside hitter, was able to get the kill for Cedar Creek. But it just kind of threw everybody off because it didn't look like that would have been the second hit. So they send it out to Tamplini. Tamplini, they can't handle it. And the Hermits take a 21-14 lead. Tamplini serves. Good dig there by Cedar Creek. So that's not going to lead to, I was going to say it's not going to lead to a good set from them. It was going to be a free ball, but they went for that hard hit and sent it right into the net. That's the importance of that first pass being good because you got to get it to your setter. Give yourself a chance coming back the other way. Tamplini sends it over. Not able to handle it. And Cedar Creek will take a timeout. Score is 23-14. All right, we are back again. The Hermits lead 23-14 as they serve it over. That one's out. Not what you want, but again, that's a good little rally there for the Hermits to extend their lead. 8 points. Serves over. Sardi with the dig. Sakara with the set. Good hit there by Lawson. And it'll be a point for the Hermits because while Cedar Creek was able to block it, they sent it back to the Hermit side, but it didn't come in inbounds. So good hard hit there by Lawson. Gives the Hermits 1 point away from taking game one as looks like they called a miss hit on the setter for Cedar Creek. And that'll be it. That'll be game one as the Hermits take that one 25-15. And we will be right back after this for game two. All right, we are back here for Game 2. Hermits take Game 1, 25-15. For Game 2, I'm going to be joined alongside former Hermits volleyball player and future college punter, Pete Burns.
Yep, going to Assumption University, but I love volleyball still my favorite sport. No offense to football.
I love football. Did you see who's the first receiver taken? Good set there by Brogan in the NFL draft.
I am not sure. I did not watch the draft.
It was the kid from Arizona or something like that. But either way, he was talking about they mentioned volleyball, and he was getting recruited to play both. He was apparently a high level volleyball player. And he said it's my favorite sport to play. He's like, I love football. As the Hermits tie this game up at 1.
Great hit there by Brogan. Great hit.
And the same thing with who's the Tennessee kid that transferred to UCLA? To UCLA? Whatever.
Nico Yama.
Yeah. He also was apparently a very good volleyball player.
Yeah, a lot of West Coast volleyball, but we're over here on the East Coast.
All right, so Sicario sends that one in. Cedar Creek hit. Dig by Brogan. Sicario sets that one to the net.
Yeah, that's a tough set for Sicario. He had to come off the net. You never want to come off the net as a setter. He came back to maybe half court for the volleyball court and had to set from there, and that just forces a tough set to Brogan.
So where you want to start up as the setter? Around the center circle?
Around the center circle is where you want to start.
And then
the left side of it.
Hopefully that first pass gets to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the goal. That's a good pass.
Oh, as you see it there, I think Minichino just got a little underneath that one. I think that was a pretty good set from Nick, but...
Yeah, sometimes that happens. A lot of times they tell you to flick your wrist into it when you're hitting to get that ball down instead of in a linear line.
Yeah, you don't want line drives. You want to spike that into the ground. They go to Brogan on the outside.
Whoa.
Block. Almost takes Peter out, but the ball...
I don't think my coach at Assumption would be happy if I got hit by that ball.
The ball goes out of bounds, so the Hermits will take that point. Good block there by Cedar Creek, just couldn't keep it in bounds. As Fisher Brogan serves into the net.
And sometimes when you're hitting, if you're like Brogan there, you try to hit it off of the block in play.
Yeah. Don't like the service into the net, though. I feel like that would drive me crazy. To borrow a phrase from trainer McFadden, I think I want to scream when that happens, but...
Yeah, it's tough, but...
Cedar Creek gave it right back to us, though.
Yeah, exactly. Serving is one of those things where that's one of those places you can make mistakes and kill yourself. In volleyball, it's hard. It's one of those sports where you can kill yourself more than the other team can kill you.
Yeah, good hit there by Cedar Creek. It's number 12. Brogan not quite able to handle it. Goes out for a Cedar Creek point, so they lead 5-3.
Creek's coming back off that off the set break and is looking pretty good. A little announcer's jinx, but it helps the Hermits, so I'm happy with it.
That's fine. The Hermits are horrible and aren't going to score a point the rest of the match. I'm going with the same announcer's jinx, Pete.
We're going to make a sub here. Number 14 played JV, so he's back up on varsity doing double duty. Both teams a little depleted from what I heard pregame.
Yeah. Oh, that is Oakcrest. I'm sorry, Cedar Creek also.
Yes, they are. I believe they're missing their starting setter.
You know what? That actually makes sense because, I was at their first game, and, Hermits had Lemowski and everything. And, I don't know. It seemed like Cedar Creek was a little more, like they're missing their setter. And you can actually say, is he injured or?
I think both of them are just not here. I don't know where they are at.
I don't know. Ooh, Sicario with the quick hit. Everybody thinks he's going to set, and he just kind of punches that down.
Yeah, that's called a setter dump, and as a former setter, that's probably my favorite move to pull. It's so much fun because you get them used to setting it to one of those outside hitters who can spike that ball, and then you just, flick your wrist, and boom, you get the kill.
Another set too close to the net, and Brogan takes advantage. But, yeah, back to the setter dunk, you said it was called?
Dump.
Yeah, there was no block up there. You know what I mean? They just kind of flicked it down because no one's up there.
Yeah, nobody thinks to block the setter.
There's a great serve there by Tamplini. Makes this basically a free ball for the Hermits. So Minichino is going to pass to Sicario. Sicario goes the back line set to Tamplini. 12 gets a piece of it, but that one goes out of bounds for Hermits point.
Well, Tamp this season, with Luke Minichino hitting opposite, it's a lot easier to set an opposite in the middle, and so Luke's seen a little bit less sets from in the front row, but he's seen a lot more in the back row, which is it's another attack you have to account for. The Hermits just like in football offense, you want to be multifaceted on volleyball. You want to have different people who can hit from different places.
Yeah, otherwise their blockers are going to be able to get set up right easily. You know, I mean, they're just going to start, cheating to the one side if you keep setting the one kid.
Ooh. Yeah, the look on 13's face
says it all.
Says it all, yeah.
But yeah, Cedar Creek started out the year 5-2, with their only losses being Sterling and the Hermits. But they hit a little bit of a rough patch recently. Lost to EHT, Gloucester Tech, GAMI, Pleasantville, and Oakcrest. So the Oakcrest one they probably won back. But the outside of that, the Hermits, that was the same thing. Like if us and Cedar Creek in that bottom division, when you face those top 3 teams in the top division, so Hamilton, ACIT are gettable for the Hermits and Cedar Creek and everybody, and the Hermits beat both of them. And but it's when you get Pleasantville, GAMI, EHT, which seems like all these teams play right in a row.
And I think the Hermits beat EHT.
Yeah,
away, which was a good win. But then they came in. They had to play all 3 in a row, and then that game against the game against Absegami I saw live, and that one was a close one where there was some calls both ways, and it's one of those games that doesn't fall for you. But it wasn't like they played bad.
But that's what I mean. Like that's like those are the 3 toughest teams in the Cal outside of the St. Augustine. Ooh, the change up there for Brogan, but he's just making sure he gets it over. And Lawson kind of sends that one back. And again, he dunks it, but honestly, I can never tell with Spencer's reaction. So the referee was in my way a little bit of calling it. Maybe you can tell us what happened in a second, Pete. But whenever Spencer reacts, I almost thought you looked like he just spiked the ball in his own net by the way his face looked. But it was a Hermit's point.
I think he touched the net, which is illegal. But sometimes, like the refs aren't going to call it every single time. It's more of if it's an egregious penalty, they'll call it.
What a dig there by number 13 from Cedar Creek. It was off the block. He kind of dug it with his one forearm.
Got a good volley going.
Yeah, Cedar Creek kind of staying alive. Hermits are getting some good hits.
They're going to call a double on Sicario. He didn't hit that set how he would have liked it.
So Cedar Creek claws back to within 1. Hermits lead 10-9. I mean, that's why this first game is so important, because you're feeling a little more relaxed. Like, it's a tight game. Ooh, good set there. Good block. Back to Brogan. Brogan goes deep with it this time. And the dig just goes over number 13's hands. And it'll be a point for the Hermits.
That move from Fisher where he takes the ball, and we found a loophole last year where as long as your hand doesn't start behind your head, you can hold it as long as you want.
Oh, really?
And so he's been abusing that with that little power tip, as we call it, and it works like a charm.
Good hit there from Minikino, but stay with the block, with a slightly better block. Comes back the other side, dig by Tamplini. Sicario sets Tamplini again. Tamplini pulls that little Fisher hit. This time they go with the changeup here. Should be a good set from Nick. Nick goes to Fisher. Fisher goes with the hammer and called in, so the Hermits will take a 12-9 lead.
Yeah, that's a good volley there by the Hermits, and those are the points that matter the most in volleyball, in my opinion. Each team's going to get those quick points where somebody makes a mistake, but when it's a volley, that's when the skill comes out.
Yeah, it's so important to get a nice hit there by Minikino. Takes advantage of a bad pass, but that was going to be my point. Is it's so important to have a good pass to start your rally, because if you keep going, bumps that spike hit, and they're just sending free balls over, eventually you're going to score. But timeout, Cedar Creek. We will be right back after this. All right, and we are back. Again, the Hermits lead 13-9.
Yeah, Cedar Creek looking to come off the timeout strong. Need to get a good bump set there. I think that's really been the difference today is the Hermits have spiked it a lot better. Well, done the third hit or the hit a lot better than Cedar Creek has. They've gotten that ball down and they've gotten the points off of that, whereas Creek has given up a lot of digs to the Hermits, which is a credit to the Hermits defense.
Good block there by Sardi. Saying who needs it's 6'6" Adrian Lemowski. Sardi's got it down just fine.
Yeah, Adrian, I don't know where he is. I think
they said allergies. They said he could barely open his eyes. And I was like, can we get this guy some Allegra? You know what I mean? Like, gotta get him here. Maybe he's watching at home.
Good float serve by Sicario.
Time. Yeah, Sardi sets to Sicario. Sicario sets it right back to Sardi, and the block goes into their own side of the net, and the Hermits take a 16-9 lead.
All these games important. The Hermits looking to bring home the first piece of hardware for their team in volleyball ever.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. Is Hermits beat EHT? Honestly, with the way the records are going, EHT's, I think, better than Pleasantville, but Pleasantville beat the Hermits. And then right now, Absegami's the best of the Cal, but all these games have been, crazy close. So really, I would say any of the I'll let you get into that. The sub is Pete's pulling double duty. But I would say any of the top 4 teams can win the Cal. Now the one thing is, if you want to be winning it, you want to have that semifinals at home. So most likely,
sure we'll get the Rowdies out here for that.
Well, so that's what I'm interested to see. I'll have to look at the stats once we get a second. Fisher gives us a second to as he puts it into the net to check. But so you look at the standings, and the question is, who's going to be seated higher? Now they're probably going to ding the Hermits for not being in the top division, because usually they're going to seed them higher. Now the Hermits have beaten Hamilton, Atlantic Tech, they're clearly above them. The Hermits will be at least the 4 seed, but EHT's the 2 or the number 2 in the standings right now. Pleasantville's 3, so Pleasantville beat the Hermits. So do you see them above? But Hermits beat EHT, so it was a good hit there by Brogan. Cedar Creek can't quite hang on. So
that off the side of his hand, but it gets a good spin that's going to confuse him.
What I would bet that they're doing, and I can't really have too many arguments, I'd love to be the 3 seed, but most likely I bet you we're the 4, which means we would host maybe Mainland or Oakcrest or Cedar Creek again. And then but the problem is you'd have to, as Brogan puts that in there, you'd have to go to Absegami in the semi. So the Hermits are probably going to be away at the semis anyway, whether you're the 3 going to the 2 or the 4 going to the number 1. Hopefully they get through that game. But
and they will. And I think that if you're looking at the games we lost, right, we talked about Absegami. Pleasantville, I know Pleasantville has a D1 commit, and I think that from what I heard from my friends that are on the team, they struggled really to block him. He's a hitter. He hit really well against them.
Basically, they're a one-man team. Now, that one man is really, really good. But if you can find a way to neutralize that, you can beat Pleasantville. A good rally there. Ooh, heard a whistle. I think a double hit there for Cedar Creek. But yeah, my point is, I think it is fairly even among the top 4. So the Hermits will get one, home game most likely in the Cal. Hopefully win that. Maybe get some Rowdies out here, and then you're gonna have to go on the road for a game. And you can definitely win that game. As they lost it close to Gammy and close to Pleasantville, but you got to show up on that day.
Now, do you know where the Cal Championship's being held? Should the Hermits make an appearance?
I honestly think it's a higher seed, but EHT hosts a lot of these games, they did in basketball and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's that. You want to announce for us? Do play-by-play for a second, Pete.
Aquino with a great hit, lefty. He's really come on for the Hermits this season. Really, if we get a sub that I have to write down real quick. But Menachino's really come on for the Hermits this season.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are soccer players who joined in sophomore year. There's your announcer, Jinx Pete, as he sends it into the net. A lot of these soccer guys. Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, a lot of like Mr. Rimmel was saying, a lot of soccer guys on this team. He's done a good job recruiting. Original coach, Coach Collin, did a good job getting the basics in us. And then shout out to Cooper Kane and some of the guys from our sophomore year. They did a good job, sort of getting this team learned and ready, and then helping Miss Adamucci, transition smoothly into being a coach. And last year, a tough loss against Barnegat in the playoffs, and I was there for that. I was on the sideline. It was tough. We were really in it. We were missing some guys. This year, our entire starting lineup is seniors.
Yeah.
as we have a meeting with the line judges.
I'm trying to figure something out, but yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Like, because Coach Sibilia, phenomenal volleyball coach, knew what he was doing. Even helped out with fencing for a little bit. Coaches girls in the college. Like, you're not going to find a more knowledgeable person than him. But sometimes when you're an adjunct coach in a sport that's not a quote unquote marquee sport, it's harder to recruit. And so, Coach Adamucci being in the building, she's able to get some of those guys come out. And honestly, like, a credit to her. Like, you see some of her practice plan. Like, it's not like, oh, we just got some coach who,
she's an amazing coach, and it's really helped with her ability to recruit has really helped.
Yeah, and she learned it all on the fly. You know what I mean? She kind of figured it all out. And the Hermits, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just like, oh, let's go give the ball to the athletes. Like, they know what they're doing. They have, a ton of different strategy going in. So, yeah, it's back-to-back good coaches. But, again, it's
they're out of rotation.
But it's one of those things where, you've never played volleyball before you set foot on St. Augustine Prep's campus. So it's kind of, you don't have that pipeline that Williamstown or Kingsway or RV or GAMI might.
We're going to get Riley Kostiuk, former kicker for the Hermits. Just a shout-out to him. He's coming into the game. Also, shout-out to Vinny Camey on the bench. Been shouting me out into the games as a manager, so I'm going to shout him out on the broadcast.
And he plays it over.
Nice jump serve there by Tamp. He's been working on that since freshman year. He's really good at it.
Yeah, so the Hermits are just a point away from taking this game. Like I said, I might have been a little worried coming in, thinking, what are they going to do with Noah Lemowski? But Hermits not really having any trouble so far today. And that ball goes into the net, and the Hermits will take game 2. And honestly, with the way PowerPoints and stuff are going, this is a pretty big win. You can't drop any of these with the Hermits not having a ton of marquee PowerPoint games except for EHT. So good win there for the Hermits. Any final thoughts on the game today, Pete?
Played well. I mean, this is a game you got to win, but you got to win it. You got to come out here without guys on a day when you don't have school. It's always tough to do that. And they come out, they take care of business, and they head into next week looking good.
All right, well, that'll do it for us here at St. Augustine. I don't remember when our next broadcast is, but I'm sure you can find it online. So go Hermits.